Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, Senior Tech got taught about basic network concept. When the iPhone 3GS did not support 3G. A tale of two pities. Did you read the emails? Any of them? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Senior Tech got taught about basic network concept. Certain boot camps ruin the credibility of networking credentials. A recent chat with my colleague reminded me of a story from my previous work. Now thinking back to what happened, it was a nice and funny little story. Not exact conversation/email as the event happened years ago, but certain aspects of the story were engraved into my memory. Background: I used to work for a Cisco Gold Partner company as a network specialist in a business-to-business environment. Cisco contracts these partner companies to offload part of their TAC, Technical Assistance Center, responsibilities. Other businesses would get discounts purchasing partner support contracts than if they were to purchase support straight from Cisco TAC. My responsibility would be to try to resolve issues from the end customer and only escalate issues that could not be solved by us to Cisco. I won't go into detail, but Cisco strongly dislikes partners escalating too many tickets, and there are penalties involved if a large amount of easy tickets were escalated to them. With that said, certain customers do abuse the system and ask us to escalate anything and everything. I have worked with this customer a couple of times in the past. I'll call her Karen, as this story could very well fit into our entitled people if not for the technical aspect. Her email signature is quite eye-catching in large bold letters. Karen. CCIE hashtag 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 hashtag. XXXX business. Senior Network Specialist. For those not from my field, CCIE is the highest industry certification Cisco offer for a certain aspect of networking. Being a CCIE myself, I know very well the amount of work and experience needed to achieve this level of certification through the proper channel. There are, of course, crash courses and boot camps out there providing a much easier way of obtaining this certification, and Karen reeks the smell of boot camp from my past interactions with her. My expectation of her was low, but never was I prepared for what I had the pleasure of witnessing. On that faithful day, a ticket from her came in when I'm the only person on shift. Problem: network slow, switch dropping packets. Yes, this should be framed for people who want to nitpick, but unless we want to be 100% accurate in a document we use normally just call them packets. Following standard procedure, I collected information from her via emails such as time of occurrence, business impact, any changes to device configurations, and tech support file from the device in question. Being working in the position for a few years, I have developed good intuition as to what may be causing the problem, and from the files I collected, I quickly found the exact cause of her issue. There is a large amount of input error on the interface. Typically this would be caused by a bad connection or defective part. Someone with basic understanding should be able to spot and deal with this type of issue. With that in mind, I replied to her. Hi Karen. There appears to be a large amount of input error on this interface. Here is an excerpt of the output showing the error. If and when possible, can you ask someone on site, who has physical access to the device, to reseat, unplug and plug back in the SFP module and cable and monitor the error counter. If the counter still increments after the reseat, then the module is likely defective. Please replace it with a new SFP if that's the case. I thought that was that, but 2 hours later, I received a phone call from Karen. Me: Hi, may I ask who is calling and what is the ticket number you're calling about? Karen: Hi, this is Karen and I'm calling about ticket hashtag 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 hashtag. The problem is having a severe business impact. Can you escalate this to Cisco? Me: Hi Karen. I was the person who worked on this ticket. The issue is caused by a high amount of input error. Have you asked a site technician to check and reseat the SFP? Karen: I am a CCIE. If it was that simple, don't you think I would have caught on to it? Get me Cisco TAC now, I don't have anything else to say to you. Me in my head, yeah. Why didn't you catch on to it, Ms. CCIE? Me, sorry Karen, I can't just escalate everything to them without doing troubleshooting first. As it stands, the interface issue needs to be resolved. If reseating and replacing the SFP does not resolve the issue, I would be happy to escalate to TAC for you. Karen, gosh, why is it always so difficult for you? She really meant me specifically, as I'm the one consistently pushing back on her tickets to get Cisco. Get me Cisco now, or I'll have a word with your manager. I like to imagine her stomping her feet on the other side of the phone as she says this. There's nothing else I can do at this moment, and pushing back on her any further wouldn't do me any good, so I got Cisco TAC involved and jumped onto a group meeting with TAC and Karen. Over the session, TAC asked Karen to share her screen, log into the device, requested control, and perform troubleshooting on the device. TAC: Hi ma'am, there are a lot of input errors on this interface, specifically CRC errors. This is causing packets to be dropped. I know this is a production environment, but if someone is on site, can they quickly reseat the interface SFP and check the cable to see if it is a connection issue? The process should be quick and should not cause a major outage. If you want to be on the absolutely safe side, then we can do this over a scheduled maintenance window. Karen, what is CRC error? I facepalmed so hard it hurt, and then quickly double-checked to see I was on mute. Over the next 15 minutes, I had the pleasure of listening to TAC, who I later found out to be a CCNP, one level below CCIE, explaining to a CCIE what CRC is, what may have caused CRC error, how CRC error and input error in general can impact network traffic, why reseating can resolve the issue, what to do if reseating does not work. In the meantime, soft banging my head on my desk in disbelief. After that, we had a site technician check the cable and SFP. They had spare SFP on site, so everything was resolved when they swapped with a spare. I was not surprised when the ticket came back with a dissatisfactory rating. My team lead just shared it with me out of curiosity and for a laugh, as he knows my abilities. How was your experience? Very unpleasant. Tech is condescending and won't do what I asked. He even questioned my credential as a CCIE as if I don't know my stuff. How knowledgeable was the support representative? He completely doesn't know anything and should go flip burgers instead. It's a waste of money to hire someone like him. Would you recommend company to others? No, company is completely useless and did nothing to resolve the issue. The issue was in the end resolved by Cisco anyways. Having company as the middleman between us and Cisco only delayed the issue from being resolved. Why is company even involved? When the iPhone 3GS did not support 3G. This happens around the time I was working for a large national ISP here in the UK in one of their Scottish call centers. I have posted a couple times before in this sub regarding things which have happened. When sales promised thousands of emails per day. A decade worth of emails all gone. Some background information for this story. The iPhone 3GS came out on the 19th of June 2009 and I had gotten it a few months after release date. Also by this point in time 3G services in the UK had been out since roughly early 2003. Me and two of my work associates had purchased the iPhone 3GS around the same time and unknown that we had done so. Cast. Me, not you or them, or the giant spider running around the roof, just plain old I am from Scotland, smiley face. WA1, Work Associate 1. WA2, Work Associate 2. Story. Me and WA1 were on our break in the break area, talking about our newly purchased iPhones, how awesome they were, and that you can do this and that with them. Unbeknown to us at the moment, WA2 just happened to be in the vicinity of the break area. Whilst we were talking, the conversation came to the point that how fast 3G was on these things. It was great. WA2, sorry, did you say 3G? Me and WA1, yeah, it's available on this model of iPhone. WA2, I have the iPhone 3GS2, but it is only getting 2G. Proceeds to show us him getting 2G and we check his settings, all configured correctly. WA2, I only get 3G sporadically when I am in Glasgow, West Coast Scotland. We were located in northeast Scotland. As I see family there, I thought 3G had not been rolled out yet across the UK yet. It had been around for 6 years by this point, as I had remembered my previous phones being able to get them before the iPhone. Me, I had an 3G phone before this one. I got 3G on that okay without any issues, so you should get it on your phone. WA1, how long have you had the phone for? Did you use the same number, or is it a new number? WA2, well, I only got it a few weeks ago. Before that I had a couple of. As for my number, it was not changed. I have used the same SIM in my phone since 1999, it has worked since then. If you guys have been paying attention now, wondering why on earth I had originally put the date of 3G release in the UK above, he had been using a SIM prior to that release, so even though he had a 3G capable phone, his time had not been. We had suggested to him to take his phone to his provider to get a new SIM swapped over. Fast forward a few weeks. WA2, guys, guess what? I went to my provider and asked them to replace the SIM card. I used the excuse of I lost my SIM, and I got one later that day, aka the day before he came to us after doing his own checks. I can now get 3G on my iPhone and it's so cool. If he had not overheard you guys talking, I would never have had this. Me and WA1 just let out a little chuckle and told him we were glad he was getting his speeds again. A tale of two pities. I worked in IT for a company that was getting ready to move to an ERP system. The solution chosen was pretty accounting heavy and didn't have any provision for maintenance, which was bad because the engineering and maintenance side had felt that IT gave them short shrift whenever they needed something. I was new and had gained some credibility with some of the maintenance folks by delivering over and above when asked to help. There were 3 companies vying for their maintenance system to be integrated with the ERP. Each came in to give us a demo. I was excited about the first one because it was very adaptable, and we'd be able to pretty much give maintenance anything they needed. Unfortunately, the crew they had presenting didn't bother to customize it before presenting it to everyone, including end users. As a consequence, they had to click through literally dozens, multiple, of options before getting to the things someone asked a question about. All I could see were big, round eyes, getting bigger every time they traced through, and then collapsed, one layer at a time, how to get to a particular item in question. In reality, we could customize a user's environment so that it would all be on 1 or 2 screens, and they'd never see the layers of crap that the presenters were showing. There was no dissuading them that they were not going to be clicking through 25 layers for each task they performed. Sighing, I scratched it off the list because that was an uphill battle I wasn't going to win. I forget what the second option was, but the engineering department and maintenance were gaga over the third before they'd ever seen it. The presentation wasn't the worst I'd ever seen, but it didn't wow me. To demonstrate, they were using PCs at our location connected via modem to their HQ, even though we offered them a sandbox network to work with. There was one critical transfer that had to take place, or the system was a no-go. We got to the critical juncture, and they lost their modem connection. When they finally got it back, you could see that the data had indeed transferred. I asked to see it again. Data gets entered on our end, with them saying out loud everything they're typing and every move to a different field while on speakerphone to their HQ. Which is why I wanted to see it again. The modem connection died at the same point in the transfer. Are you beginning to understand why there are quotes around transfer? I asked to see it again. They looked like they were sweating a bit now, but they obliged. The modem connection died at the exact same point it had every time previously. I asked to see it again. You've already seen it 3 hashtag and asterisk at % times. The engineer that was this presenter's local contact. No. I've seen it fail 3 times at the same point. But the data got there. He spluttered red-faced with anger. Yes. But the data was also recited verbally, character by character here, and there's a speakerphone in the room connected to their site. I propose disconnecting the speakerphone, having their representatives leave the room, and I'll type in nonsense characters here, and we will see if they show up at the other end. I countered, and the presenters, I thought, looked rattled. We don't have time for your theatrical nonsense, he shouted. I read the room full of hostile faces and said, very well, and sat down. I offered no further feedback even when asked. Guess what didn't work when everything was implemented? Did you read the emails? Any of them? A short, but frustrating call on a crappy day where I ended up losing my cool without muting the mic. Disclaimer, I absolutely waited for my cake day to post this and the stories to come. Setting. Engineering just broke the VPN again. The previous time they broke the VPN, users lost the ability to print while connected to the VPN due to it using full tunnel and essentially blocking the user's network. Due to this, security stated that was totally the plan. And stuck with it. Forcing users to suspend or disconnect to print. That was almost a year ago. Some users were lucky and could still print while on the VPN. There have been monthly reminders of the requirement to suspend the VPN since because it's such a common call. Now the VPN is broken again and the fix is a reinstall that is re-breaking the ability to print for those lucky users that didn't need to suspend previously. Just as well, the VPN updates being sent out are also reinforcing the full tunnel capacity and keeping users from printing. For techs on the phones. 200 tickets for 20-minute reinstalls and other random BS. Voicemails are overflowing, unassigned queue is bursting at the seams. 7 or 8 calls so far had been time wasters complaining about not being able to print while on the VPN already. At this time there are people that have been on hold for 2+ hours. Ring dash. Me, helpdesk, this is Absinthe. User, hey, my printer isn't printing for some reason? Me, suspend your VPN and you'll be able to print, is there anything else I can dash? User, I've never had to do that before, why do I have to do it in dash? Me, it's been a year. User, what? Me, the VPN has been broken for a year when it comes to printers. I've personally sent out about 7 of the 30 or so emails and all the monthly reminders on it. Did you read the emails? User, well, I never had to suspend dash. Me, then you got lucky. That was also part of the emails we sent out. Are you logged into the VPN right now? User, yes. Me, do you have any other issues I can solve for you? User, well, I want to be able to print while on the VPN. Me, per the security policy reminder that I sent out last week. This is considered the new norm and has been for months. Right now you're lucky again since you can log in and do your job. User, but I can't print. Me, I will give you $100, I will Venmo you right now, if suspending the VPN doesn't allow you to print. User, well, it's broken. Me, $100. Right-click the white Q icon and hit suspend and then try to print. Sound of a printer in the background, dash. Me, have a nice day and please let us know if you have any other issues. Preferably send an email or use the ticketing system so you're not on hold for multiple hours again. Click dash.